highly anticipated book titled Citizen Jones Selected Prologues is finally here.
This explosive new book takes you on a journey through the finest writing of the ace journalist and broadcaster that will leave you inspired and informed.
The Citizen Jones Selected Prologues of Volume 1 now available. Get your copy now.
For details, contact 0706 9637 935 or send an email to enterprisetv@gmail.com.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues,
a classical compendium of compelling arguments.
The highly anticipated book titled Citizen Jones Selected Prologues is finally here.
This explosive new book takes you on a journey through the finest writing of the ace journalist and broadcaster that will leave you inspired and informed.
The Citizen Jones Selected Prologues of Volume 1 now available. Get your copy now.
For details, contact 0706 9637 935 or send an email to enterprisetv@gmail.com.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues,
a classical compendium of compelling arguments.
The highly anticipated book titled Citizen Jones Selected Prologues is finally here.
This explosive new book takes you on a journey through the finest writing of the ace.
Politicians say these things just to exonerate themselves from the general decay in the country, to say that because he joined politics, therefore he has lost more than he should have. He should have gained more if he had stayed away from politics. But nobody sent him to join politics. He joined at his own volition. He was not forced into politics. So coming out to tell Nigerians what we're hearing now is of no consequence. It's of no use at all, because it's even a lie in the first place. It's not true that federal government took his businesses and then he's now he's trying to tell us that he could have been better off if he were not a politician. I don't think so. I don't think so. There is nothing he would have made. Politics made you a governor. It made you a lawmaker. It made you virtually everything you are today. So the least you can do is to be grateful to God and maybe to the people who supported you, and leave it at that, rather than come around to deceive, people about your status and what you have done so far. I don't think you're saying the right thing.
All right, so just before we get into the status of the senator, I think it's very important for the benefit of our audience, just like you rightly said, Barrister, we have some facts here on everything, his conviction and all the crimes he committed. And I'd love to read it here for the benefit of our audience. In December of 2019, Kalu was convicted by the Federal High Court in Lagos on 39 counts of fraud and money laundering involving the diversion of 7.65 billion naira from the Abia State Treasury during his tenure as governor from 1999 to 2007. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison. His company, Slok Nigeria Limited, was also convicted and ordered to be wound up with its asset forfeited to the federal government. Now, the catch here is Supreme Court nullification and release. Now, it's very important that we know some of these things. In May of 2020, the Supreme Court nullified Kalu's conviction on procedural grounds, stating that the trial judge had been elevated to the Court of Appeal and thus lacked jurisdiction to deliver the judgment. Consequently, Kalu was released from prison. Barrister, I'd love you to justify this, if it is even justifiable in the first place. Can we say the court or the judiciary in Nigeria is part of the big problem that we have? Because if this was to have allowed to go on, this should have been his 5th year in prison. Mm-hmm. So can we justify all of this?
Well, yeah, there was a problem there. There was a problem in the judgment that led to his conviction, and that is that the judge who had been elevated to the Court of Appeal,
or because of him,
whichever way, came down from the Court of Appeal to the Federal High Court to deliver that judgment. Now, the Supreme Court did not just nullify the judgment. the Supreme Court ordered the EFCC to commence that case de novo.
And what does that mean, please?
Yes, that is to start that proceedings afresh at the Federal High Court. You understand? So the ball now is at the EFCC to do so, because it's not just that Kalu should go, just go, but that the case should start de novo.
But we have another issue here, Barrister. In September of 2021, the Federal High Court, just like you said in Abuja, prohibited the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, from retrying Kalu on the same charges, citing that he had already been tried and convicted, and that the Supreme Court's judgment did not specifically order a retrial for him. So where are we having the issue?
I read the judgment then. Okay, the Supreme Court order for a trial de novo, except they should excavate the judgment for us to see. But you know, in issues like that, Kalu will always have, judges of Kalu will always have a defense in law. That's what they call double jeopardy, or that's what they call res judicata. Once a court has pronounced judgment on a particular situation, you cannot retry him for that case any longer. Because I know when EFCC went back to the Federal High Court, and I knew that Orji of Kalu, I knew that Orji of Kalu is going to come up with a preliminary objection to that effect. Because the truth is, the court did not even contemplate that one who have been elevated to the Court of Appeal will come down and deliver a judgment, and then the higher court will abrogate the judgment. Because the principle of law is that once judgment has been pronounced on a case, it is res judicata.
Okay.
That's also law. That's also the law. So if you now say the person should be retried, and you now came up with a charge again on the same case, with the same facts, with the same evidence, the person will not go to bed and sleep. He will come with a preliminary objection. That's what he did, and stalled them there. His lawyer stalled the proceedings at the Federal High Court at the second arraignment. But the Supreme Court actually ordered it. But the fact that the Supreme Court ordered it, EFCC obeyed the order of the Supreme Court.
Not to, or to?
Obeyed to go and recommence it.
Okay.
But there's a legal problem there. As EFCC is recommencing it, the defendant counsel, they are filing a preliminary objection to say that he has been convicted on this matter.
And therefore it
is res judicata. You cannot try him twice on a particular issue. You understand me? The law itself did not contemplate that a judge who has been elevated to the Court of Appeal will come down to the Federal High Court to deliver a judgment. When that happened, the Supreme Court said it was wrong for the judge to have done that.
To have.
He has been elevated.
Okay.
When he was elevated, the matter was part-head. It was almost judgment.
Okay.
Adoption. So he was promoted to the Court of Appeal, meaning he has no business again with the Federal High Court. But because the only judgment that was left, he came from there to the High Court, to the Federal High Court, and delivered the judgment.
Why would he have done that?
That is the issue. Because as at the time he was promoted, they have already, in fact, he has even written the judgment. But the dates for the pronouncement have not been, the date for the sitting is not yet the date. So he only came down to just read the judgment. That was the clinch. The moment he finished the judgment means in law, he convicted him, asked him to serve prison time for 12 years, because all the evidences, the prosecution proved their case. You understand? The moment he did that, they now went on appeal, the defendants.
That he wasn't supposed to have done that. That
the judge said, I came to make that pronouncement, was already elevated to the Court of Appeal. That why should you still be involved? So the Supreme Court now dismissed, that's abrogated that case.
Really?
Yes, and ordered that they should go back to the Federal High Court to recommence trial. When they got there, the Federal High Court already had tried Nnamdi Kanu for that offense and had convicted him. sorry, Orji Kalu,
Yes.
That same court had already tried him and convicted him, and he has served part of the prison term before the Supreme Court nullified it. So when the EFCC now got back there to recommence it,
Yes.
and the charge sheet and everything was filed, his counsel, the defense counsel, now filed preliminary objection to say that this matter is res judicata, that recommencing another trial will mean double jeopardy. There's so many Supreme Court authority on that issue too. So they stalled the EFCC there.
But literally, can we allow such to go under the bridge, knowing that this is
Let the EFCC appeal.
This is a very serious issue that needs to be taken care of.
It's a serious issue, but the EFCC should appeal that preliminary objection, because I mean they are stalled, because truly that court had tried him already and had convicted him. He has even served part of the term.
And you don't see handwriting on the wall somewhere. Maybe
I don't know about handwriting. I don't know about handwriting.
because
I'm just stating the law the way
it's
it is.
difficult for Nigerians, because that's why I had to read through all of this research that I did.
I know
so
the
as
case.
people can
I know the case,
understand
but I know
where
the
we're
case.
coming from
I can even
and
get
why this man is free.
I can even get you the judgment. You see where the Supreme Court at the concluding part ordered for a retrial. But why the Supreme Court was ordered for, the Supreme Court forgot that the court they are asking to retry him have already convicted him.
Supreme Court forgot.
Of course.
Apex.
That's what do you want
Apex court.
What else should I say? Because if you ask that a court that have tried somebody and convicted the person to retry him, what you are doing is that you are asking for double jeopardy.
But don't you think that's
You are asking that a man who has been tried should be retried and convicted again on the same offense, on the same issue. It is tried law that once judgment is delivered, the court washes his hand off that case. It's res judicata.
And you think that's not a slap on our judiciary? All of these things, because they are very avoidable.
Both sides, the Supreme Court have a power to ask that a case starts de novo. The Supreme Court have a power to make.
And it will do.
Nnamdi Kanu's case, this one that's ongoing. You know that before they got to the Supreme Court, the court at the Supreme Court made some pronouncement and said that it was irresponsible for the army to invade his house.
Yes, very true.
It was the extraordinary rendition was wrong and all that, and then ordered that they go back and retry and commence trial. The only difference is that Nnamdi Kanu, so he has not been convicted.
Oh, okay.
It's the Supreme Court that ordered this retrial that's ongoing.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
De novo. Start again. So Supreme Court have that power to say, go start again. But go start again means a lot. If you have been convicted there, and they're asking you to go start again there, defense counsel need not file anything, just file preliminary objection to say that this same court have tried our client, has convicted him, he has served part of the prison term, cannot under the law be retried because of double jeopardy. So that's it.
Now,
the matter will be stored
yes.
there.
So now, off the double jeopardy thing, how about issues like when a judge recuses herself from a case? Doesn't it equally work like elevation of a judge to another level?
No.
Therefore, it becomes the same like this.
No. If a judge recuses himself or herself from a case, the judge can be ordered by the chief judge to go back to that case.
The same judge can be ordered to go back.
The chief judge can order any judge to go back to that case, or to transfer it to another judge. Okay, transfer it to another judge. So recusal does not mean elevation. Recusal, you are still within jurisdiction.
But you're not interested in
you are not interested. You are not interested in that case. Okay. In the one for Nnamdi Kanu, Justice Binta Nyako left and recused him, and the chief judge asked her to go back to that assignment before it was finally transferred to Justice, the judge that is handling it now. Can't remember his name now. James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja.
All right. So away from that, now let's come to the now and see what's happening to Orji Kalu. Lots of people have called it performative support or strategic allegiance, when someone supports a government because he doesn't want to forfeit whatever assets and investment that they have. It's a form of self-preservation.
Yeah, what saved him was
yes. So don't you think it's this?
What saved him was the APC he went to now. That's what chased him to APC. The same thing with Akpabio. These praises that Akpabio is singing today, you think Akpabio does not know that things are bad, things are wrong? It's self-preservation. Akpabio was in the same position where Nnamdi Kanu was when he left office. All of them.
Orji Kalu.
All of them, the same position, the same thing. The position of Kowa is now the same thing. After they finished serving, a lot of allegations against them and all that. So, what Orji Kalu is doing is just to whip up sentiments around, just to extricate himself from blames and possible criminal liability, to whip up sentiments, to create empathy, and the rest of that, just to feel good. You know, he knows that what he's saying is not true. He knows that.
And where does this leave our politics in Nigeria?
It leaves our politics exactly where it is, because there's nothing has changed whatsoever. Politicians will keep scheming. The people will be hungry. The economy will keep dancing around. As long as there's no willpower, there's no patriotism, there is no collective effort to redeem society from this chaos, the country will remain where the country will be deteriorating the more. Okay, the citizens will suffer the more. The politicians will gain more. Okay, that's exactly what happens in a country where the leaders don't care about the citizens. As long as that is their anthem, whatever happened to the citizens, they have no business. The leaders have no business with whatever happened to the citizens. It is just about selfish interests. Get all you can get and can all you can. You know, and that is just what it is. And any country that is run that way, when it will not be long when they will be uprising. Okay, they will be uprising, because when the people, when they hit the tarmac, and there's no other thing to do, they'll be uprising. So the leaders should also know that what they are doing is risky, it's dragging the people, it's draining them. A time will come when they will revolt. And that's exactly what will happen. Very
true. And just before we get going, I sincerely feel, and lots of Nigerians will equally think the same way, the smoke screen of what he had said, that's Orji Kalu, it seemed to lots of Nigerians like there is fire on the mountain, on the other side of the divide, that is on the side of the APC, because he stated that rather than all the dissent voices, you know, do lots of harm to the current administration, they should all come together. If you have any economic surprises, you should present it to the president and he would help you make it work, and so on and so forth. Do you really see an imminent implosion on the side of the APC because of all of these little skirmishes here and there?
The policy of the president, he has not implemented one. It's the one that citizens will gather and come and bring to him that will implement. There's implosion coming, and the implosion is going to tie around survival. Okay, the reason things are still like this is because the people are still watching, and they want to see how much this man can go, maybe with the first term. Okay, there's serious discontent in the land. Okay, discontent, discordance, disconnection between the leaders and the led. So that disconnection speaks for a lot. It presents to us the skirmishes, you know, the impropriety of governance in Nigeria, the irregularities. Okay, it's a whole can of worm. Okay, as long as people are governing, or people govern, they govern are not able to access democracy, there is no way you are not going to have discontent. And it is that continuous discontent that will snowball into a dispassionate protest for a change of regime or a change of the situation. That's exactly what will happen. We have met all the conditions for that to happen, and a little spark, it will happen. As long as this government is insensitive, appears not to know its right from its left, appears not to have the right strategy to deal with the socio-economic condition of the country, then good luck to them.
Very true. And we all know that facts cannot be covered. It cannot be, allowed to die as much as it exists. And it's very so important. If Orji Kalu said he didn't benefit anything, fact shows that right after he became the governor of Abia State University gifted him first class in, I guess, one of the courses, and, and on top of that, and
he started writing books that nobody read.
Very true. So all of those things are there, and they cannot be swept under the carpet. But let's see how this goes, though. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here.
Very well.
We do appreciate you. All right, people, we'd love to say thank you to you also for making this a date. We truly do appreciate you for making this picture complete. Thank you so very much once more. And wherever it is you have watched from around the world, we'd love to say thank you, and thank you. But please do well to visit us if you may. You can always find us at Enterprise TV.